got breaking news here on ESPN News. We've been reporting it all day long. Hedo Turkoglu, been a rocky day for him. First, reportedly going to Portland, now just moments ago accepting a deal to play in Toronto. Turkoglu looking for a deal in the 5-year, $50 million range, money that the Toronto Raptors certainly do have. Joining us now on the phone, Mr. Rick Bucher. And Rick, how did this all take place, going from Portland now ending up with Toronto, sir?
Essentially, he went to Portland, liked the idea of playing there. The money was right. They had made the hardest push to get him. But it was a matter of comparing Portland. He knew Toronto was sitting there, and he knew it had a big Turkish community. He knew it was by flight closer to his native Turkey. It was on the East Coast, and it was this cosmopolitan city that his wife really preferred. And so it was a matter of going to Portland and seeing if he could find a way to see that that was more comfortable, or it was going to be comfortable enough for him to accept that deal. And he spent a couple of days there, and ultimately it just got to the point where he couldn't cross that bridge. And so had nothing to do with money. The difference between the two offers is at most a couple million. And so that's it. He suddenly decided this afternoon, after contemplating it and mulling it and letting it be known that the deal wasn't done, said, you know what, I can't cross that bridge. And so he's now headed to Toronto, and all expectations are that because he was pulling out specifically with the idea that Toronto was a better fit city-wise, all expectations are that he's going to accept and agree to that deal. But I would suggest that we be a little cautious in saying that he's already agreed, because at best he's in the air on his way to Toronto now.
All right, well, we're talking about a guy here that his stock really rose in the NBA playoffs and eventually in the NBA Finals as he heads to Toronto, a team that has had a lot of talent the last few years but really has underperformed. What will he bring to that squad?
Well, number one, ever since Vince Carter left and Tracy McGrady, they have not had a dominant small forward wingman, and he'll certainly give them that. He's also a playmaker. He can be your point. He can be your point guard. He's a difficult matchup. For my money, he was the MVP of that Orlando team, and they're getting to the finals. And so he's going to bring all that. He brings a great deal of experience. His size is just unusual for a guy who shoots the way he does and handles the ball. So the big question is, are they going to have Hedo and Chris Bosh to build around, or is Hedo the first piece, and are they going to parlay Bosh into something else? That's going to be the next step for this Raptors team. But clearly, if they end up getting him, he fills a huge void that they've had for quite some time.
You know, you bring up an interesting word, void. There's now a void in Orlando, and some would say that Vince Carter is filling that void. But where does Orlando go forward now, knowing that Hedo is definitely not coming back?
Yeah, I don't know that they ever expected him to come back. And for my money, as good as Vince Carter still is, I see it a little bit like the Artest-Ariza deal with the Lakers. We've got two championship teams who made it to the finals and then decided to swap out important pieces, and I don't know that either one of them improved themselves by doing it. Now, they are going to meet with, they do have a meeting with Rasheed Wallace scheduled for next week. He's going to decide between San Antonio, Orlando, and Boston, and they hope to bring him in on the mid-level exception, but that's no guarantee. And after that, I don't know that there are any easy pieces for them to pick up that are going to fill the void that Hedo leaves, or give them a significant upgrade from where they are. Still very good. Vince is going to do a lot for them, but I don't know that the moves that they've made so far take them up a notch from where they were going to the finals.
Rick, you already mentioned Chris Bosh, and he's one of those big names that we're all talking about going to be a free agent after next season. What does this do for him and his thought process now that he will have a guy like Hedo Turkoglu playing next to him?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because in talking to people around the league, sort of the prevailing thought was Bosh just wasn't sold on staying in Toronto no matter what they did. And but if they don't do anything now and they go into training camp with the team as is, Hedo is Bosch is going to get a chance to see what it's like to play with a guy who can really make plays and make the game easier for him. And as good as Jose Calderon is, Turkoglu is just he's at a different level. And so it'll be interesting to see whether a successful winning season is going to have an impact on Bosch's mindset.
All right, it's going to be a few days for us to sit back and wait and see if indeed Hedo Turkoglu will sign that contract. ESPN, the magazine senior writer Rick Bucher, thanks so much, sir.